right, Christine, first of all, congratulations. You are America's favorite medical wellness instructor. What does that mean to you?
I am super honored, Kevin. Thank you so much. And it's wonderful to be, I guess, appreciated or know that you may be making a difference in other people's lives that may not always feel that they can do it or feel as though they want to do it. And that is what's really important. And for me, I was diagnosed about over a decade ago with an advanced autoimmune disease. And I've been in and out of, chemo a couple times and made a lot of lifestyle changes over the years with fitness and nutrition and sleep and you name it. And my goal is to go out and help others feel that they can keep going, and that's the most important thing, because movement is the most important thing in life, is to take care of you. So that makes me really happy to be able to reach more people on such an awesome platform. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. Now, I want to walk through how you got here because I think it's a really interesting story. So you've been in fitness your whole life in terms of you're an athlete. This started young for you.
So the backstory, which is kind of funny, I grew up from New York, lived in the South Shore of Long Island, and volleyball was my big sport. I was very blessed to be able to travel the world and train with some national teams, and I played in college at a pretty high level, and that was a part of my life, always a part. Movement and wellness was important, and went off and was an investment banker in New York City for a little bit, and then quickly realized that being behind a desk is not what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do more. And I wound up going to get my master's in education and teaching and English and business, and because I wanted to teach. And I knew if I could teach, I could coach. And that was always, there was always something driving behind movement. But I was always told growing up that nope, you had to have that job. Fitness was a side hustle, a hobby. It wasn't a full-time thing. So I always had my career, and then I loved fitness so much that even when I was in graduate school, I got certified in almost everything, from Zumba to Pilates to kickbox to you name it. I love learning, and I love teaching, and I love movement and how it made people feel. And fast forward, I've been in the fitness industry presenting and conferences and writing programming for about 20 years. But it wasn't until I got diagnosed about 10 years ago that I was like, what am I doing? I'm lying to myself. Yes, I have this stable job and I'm supposed to be so fulfilled, but every day I would sit there and say, Christine, get out of the car. And I knew that there was a place where I could make a bigger difference. And I used, my own, diagnosis to say, all right, well, I'm going to be an experimental one. I'm going to get as much information and research from the top doctors and fitness professionals and exercise scientists in the world, because I happen to know them, because I'd been in the fitness industry. So it was amazing for me to be able to get all this knowledge and then start teaching it to other people. And that is really my love right now. My niche is medical fitness. And, it's going to be coming out officially that I'm just took a position, a pretty high position with the MedFit Network and Education Foundation, to really make a bigger impact. But that's what led to the creation of the Arthritis Fitness Specialist course, which I authored last year during pandemic, when everyone was like, I was like, well, no better time than to get your nose in the books and try and help more people. So that's kind of how I got into this. And 3 years ago, I decided, you know what, teaching was great. I resigned from that stable, job with the pension, and said, you know what, life is more important than just, that stable paycheck. it's about relationships. And if you follow your heart, then money will follow you. We're not going to go hungry.
Right.
But that was important. And it's, like I said, Burn Along is a great platform for more people to be exposed to, maybe my arthritis classes and a lot of the research I've done, I can get it out to more people in the masses. So it's been awesome.
Let's talk about, really, I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions about what arthritis is, what people with arthritis are capable of doing, and really what they should be doing, because I just think there's this sort of bias towards inactivity that can be started there. So, talk about what it means to move with arthritis. What do you tell people who have arthritis?
So, first of all, arthritis is different for everyone. And many people look at me and they're like, you don't know what I'm going through because you don't. And I'm like, you're right. I don't know what you're going through because everyone is different.
Mm.
And you don't know what I'm going through. And it's been fascinating because there's days where, when I first got diagnosed, I would be dropping. The way that I found out I had something going on is that I kept dropping glasses. I couldn't pick up pots. My husband had this beautiful stein he got when he traveled through Europe from, Germany. And I broke, and he's like, what do you do? And I'm like, I just can't hold things. And I couldn't hold keys. And what arthritis does is people think sometimes that, oh, well, everyone has arthritis. It's like, oh, that tennis elbow or that old football injury. Well, yeah, that's arthritis. It's like a post traumatic or post injury arthritis. Calcium builds up. You got issues with the joints. It's painful, but that is not really what we're talking about here. There are millions and millions of people in the United States and beyond every year that are diagnosed. And arthritis is not just, osteoarthritis. It is a autoimmune disease that people don't know that lupus is a type of arthritis. That there's septic arthritis, juvenile arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. The list goes on. And what you have to remember is that arthritis does attack all your major muscle or your major joints in your body. So I always think of it as, inside your body, you've got these stormtroopers, right, with guns. And what they're trying to do is like zoom, zoom. They're like trying to hit with lasers all the bad guys, right? All the whatever's in there causing inflammation. What happens with arthritis is that the stormtroopers get confused with autoimmune. And they're not only shooting the bad guys, they're shooting the good guys. So, we've got many issues with inflammation and your body attacks itself. I just really love the stormtrooper idea of going on in your body. But
You nailed it.
right, like your body's attacking itself and you're like, what are you doing? You wake up and your fingers are swollen and your hip hurts and your knee and it moves, and some people it affects your feet, some people it's the hands, some people the neck, but it's something involved with inflammation. And when I talk about this, it is a disease. It's not like, oh, well, I must have caused this. Well, yeah, obviously if you eat too much salt or whatnot, you could get some sort of retention of water, and it hurts your symptoms. You may have a flare up, which is when you do get, very painfully, swollen in certain joints. But this is something that not only affects your joints, but you have to think of internal organs. So your internal organs, your lungs are affected. It could be your liver, your kidneys. So nothing is off limits with this. And some days people with various forms of arthritis may feel great. Like, woo, I'm going to go out and run. The next day, they're incapacitated and in so much pain, they can barely move. It's a fascinating disease, but it's something that doesn't appear the same in every person. They talk about, Parkinson's disease is called the snowflake disease because there's not one person that's exactly the same. Arthritis is the same thing. Just because you have RA doesn't mean you don't have some psoriasis, because psoriatic arthritis, you see patches of dry skin. When you look on television and you see all of those infomercials about, they take this medication and all of a sudden they're in like a bathtub in the middle of a field, or like, oh, I took this medication and my arthritis went away and I can now, do yoga and fly a kite. And it's really not like that. It is something that has to be managed. And some people, do it with medications. And I'm not against Western medication, but when we talk about what I really study is, listen, you have to go to the doctor. You've got to get your blood test. You've got to see what's going on. You've got to see what damage is done from your body, destroying its own joints. But what can you do? What is it that you can do? Can you get more sleep? Can you do better hydration? What's your diet like? Are you eating more of a Mediterranean diet with your fruits, your vegetables, your olive oils and your fish? And are you moving? The worst thing that you can possibly do for arthritis is nothing. Mm. And I had a doctor a great specialist. I still have him in New Jersey where I live. And he said to me, Christine, the second you stop moving, it's all over. And I took that to heart. And that was 10 years ago. And that has been the most important thing that you could do, because people are like, I'm kind of sore. Something's bothering me a little bit today, so I'm going to take it easy. Well, guess what? How often are you taking it easy? Because the second you're like, I'm not going to move my shoulder, it hurts. Well, guess what? Well, now it's been how many days, and now it's tight, and so you go to move it, and now you're injured, something tears. So whether you're sitting down and you're uncomfortable or you're moving and you're uncomfortable, you need to choose movement.
That's and I'm sure as someone who is an athlete, right? And that's one thing. My wife was a college volleyball player as well, and so
nice.
She talks all the time. First of all, the what you have to do post sport is fill this kind of gap you have, and for a lot of athletes, just being able to continue movement, it's a lot like momentum. How do you keep going? One of the things that I love about the response people will give you on your classes, they talk about it increases energy, right? They talk about like, I am energized and feeling more mobile now that I've taken that. What are the things that you're telling people to do, right? Are these, because I know there's a wide range. You've got a lot of content out there.
The most important thing is, number one, you could do anything with your body, right? We talk all the time about how important it is to be strong, and you've got to, your muscles and your balance and your flexibility, and that's all great. That's fantastic. But what's the most important thing is your mindset. That's what it is. Because people will get diagnosed with arthritis, with any disease that's out there. And I'm going to go back, I'm going to say it. I say it all the time when I talk to people. I've got my favorite person out there. Her name is Wonder Woman, and she's got a really great quote. And the quote goes like this: in life, you have two choices: do something or do nothing. Always choose something. Now, I say it all the time, and it starts with mindset. If you're going to choose something, you have to have that confidence, and you have to have some sort of ability to say, I'm going to do this. So whenever I talk and whenever I teach classes or, thinking about medical fitness and whatnot, it starts with the mind. We trip over ourselves all the time. Oh, well, my doctor told me not to do. Your doctor told you not to squat? Really? And I look at someone and I say, what must it be like not to use the potty? And they'll there's two responses I get. One is like, oh, I can't believe she just said that to me. Or the other one is like, you're right. I never thought about that before. And, that's one of the things when people say they're energized. I want to give you real life situations that empower you, that say, well, what's your other choice? You're going to sit on the couch for the rest of your life? What's the quality of your life? You choose. You be an advocate for yourself. You want to feel better? Well, let's move. and here's some ideas. And all right, you're not ready for this, try this. You don't think you can go out and run? I don't need you to run. I just need you to walk. I need you to set a timer and get your butt off that couch for 15 minutes. You're at a desk, every half hour, you better get up. And it's these small little things where you start to feel like, oh, wait, I can do that. Wait, I don't have to, fitness doesn't have to be torture. Like, wait, this could be semi enjoyable. And, maybe I've never worked out or done sports in my life. And now I have a disease and my doctor says exercise. Oh my gosh, that's going to be terrible. No, we're going to make it doable. If you can march, great. And it's about adding quality to your years and not just years to your life. And that's what's really important. Let's do something that kind of, fun, uplifting. And that I think is that's the secret to, hey, I want to feel like I have more energy. It's because you had a good experience. That's it.
One of the things I love is when you say your body can do anything. That doesn't mean your body should do everything, right? That's not a command to go run 100 miles, which you recently did. But what it is your body can do anything, which just means that you don't have to go to level, you don't have to dial it to 10. This is about just, it's capable of more than you think. And that's a really strong reminder. So let's talk about your trainer, obviously. One of the things I find interesting is the trainers that trainers have had. So what have, the trainers that you've had in your life, how have they shaped you? What have they meant to you?
So there's two parts to this, I have to say. I grew up playing very competitively at a very young age. We did not have the knowledge of exercise science, the knowledge of kinesiology and fascia tissue and overuse that we do today. And so I have to say that I had some great coaches, great mentors, great role models, and the really high level coaches I had, I actually had shoulder surgery when I was 16, was my first surgery because of, great motivation. Don't get me wrong, but just not the knowledge that we have today of what you should be doing and how you should be eating and how you should be stretching and recovering and maybe rolling for myofascial release for blood flow. So for myself, one of the greatest takeaways from having such intense coaching was that they did so much to prepare me mentally for anything. Like that mindset of, yes, you can be determined. You can be down and not give up. That I think was one of the biggest pieces of information I got for working with people in the future. That mindset is number one. Number two was that I knew that going forward, even when I was coaching and training people, that I knew that this was not life or death. That losing, although I don't like to lose, losing is not
unforgivable,
not the end of the world. And it's that whole idea of your mindset. Is it a finite mindset or is it an infinite mindset? Am I training just to win this one game or play this or be active for only a certain amount of time? Or am I trying to keep myself healthy and well for a lifetime? And that is the mindset I think I got that I didn't get when I was younger, that I took away from my coaching is, you know what? They push you so hard to be that machine that you forget about the bigger picture. But in the same time, it's like military boot camp where they're making you really tough as nails, like the hard candy shell. And that's what I think is really important, that, if you work with me or you take a course or a lecture or a class, you're going to get that, hey, listen, bigger picture. What's your goal? And if you're looking to hang clean, push press hundreds of pounds over your head, what do you do? Do you throw trees for your profession? Is that something that you need to do to live a good life, whatever that may be? I want you happy, living quality years. So we're going to work on a lot of function and mobility, and whatever that goal is, I still want it to be not surgery for as long as we can.
I want to go into MedFit Network, which for people who aren't familiar, MedFit Network is a network of medical fitness professionals. But medical fitness is I don't want to call it a new phrase, but it wasn't around. This wasn't around 50 years ago. So
Right.
First of all, talk a little bit about what is medical fitness as it relates here.
Okay. So I would say even 10 years, this is like, this is really up and coming. And when we think about our cultures, we think about even people living so much longer. I mean, we're just coming out of a pandemic. Fitness, if you're not thinking about taking care of your health, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. If that wasn't a wake up call for people who were having, the word comorbidities. I've never used that word more in the last couple of years in my whole life than I have in the last couple of years. Yeah. And what's happened, the idea with medical fitness is there's so many people out there that obese and, diabetes and cancers and you name it, all these different diseases are just increasing up and up. Nothing out there is decreasing. I'm sorry. We look at the facts, it's data. And what is starting to happen now is that we're realizing that doctors are reactive. They're giving medication, and I am totally for Western medicine when it's needed. Totally for it. It saves lives. That's science. But what are we doing to reduce that? You lose weight. Guess what? All of a sudden, your arthritis doesn't bother you as much. Imagine that. You're not carrying an extra 50 pounds on your knees and your hips. Wow, you lost weight and you're a little more fit. You're less risk for heart attack. All of a sudden, you're off of your, salt medication or whatnot. So what's been happening is that over the last couple decades, we've been saying, what can we do as fitness professionals? Instead of, hey, let's just pound people to the ground like athletes. That's not what fitness is. It's about a bigger picture. And now doing all this research of what can we do to help? So the MedFit Network is trying to bridge the gap between fitness professionals and medical professionals. So the doctors are saying, hey, we're not trained in fitness. We know you're supposed to work out. We know we need you to exercise, but they can't write a prescription yet. Let me say that. They can't write a prescription to say, you know what, Christine, I see that you have arthritis. You need to have an arthritic trainer or someone that is really well known, has taken the arthritis fitness specialist course. You need an arthritis fitness specialist. And I'm going to write a script for them to go to you 3 times a week. Because guess what? All these people, even people that go to physical therapy, it runs out. So what happens, even physical therapy, people that have diabetes are not necessarily referred to a physical therapist to do exercise. They're given medication and said, you should lose weight. You should exercise. Exercise? What am I supposed to do? Buy a Peloton and get screamed at on a bike? I've never done this. This is scary. So the MedFit Network actually has a database. So everyone out there right now, if you're like, hey, you know what? I've got this medical issue or this or that. You can go, say you live in New Jersey like me and you have arthritis and I'm searching for someone that maybe specifically can help me in person or whatnot. My name would come up. So I'm a member of the MedFit Network. As a fitness professional, I join the MedFit Network. For me, it's very inexpensive per year. And you're now listed in that database as your specialty. People can search for you. In addition, what we do is a lot of different webinars. So like people that are on Burn Along and they're looking for more information, like, oh, even, oh, I took Christine's class on Burn Along about arthritis. And wait, she also did a free webinar about, even more information. So there's a lot of education involved in it as well from top, fitness professionals and medical professionals, just to, further educate what you can be doing to take more control of your health. So again, it's just a lot of resources for just the average person and also for a fitness professional to be involved as well.
Let's so virtual programming is it's something that obviously in the last year and a half has grown leaps and bounds. When did you start looking at virtual as a means of being able to connect with new people?
Well, take it back. When I resigned from teaching and knew that, there was something, I wanted to be a bigger change for people in the health and wellness sector. One of the things I noticed was that I would go to all these conferences all over the country, Canada, and I would notice that there's so many great programs out there, but people had no way of accessing them. I'd see these great programs and this and that, yet no one knew about their classes and they didn't have millions of dollars for marketing. So I knew there's got to be something, there's got to be online platforms, there's got to be a way. And I knew that I wasn't going to be the maverick of setting up a company like Burn Along. That wasn't my cup of tea. However, I knew that podcasting was something that was up and coming. So I had a good friend who's also an endurance athlete. And I said, you know what? I'd love to start a podcast to really give people a voice, to help people network, people that want some inspiration and fitness wellness. And we started a podcast called Two Fit Crazies and a Microphone, health, fitness, nutrition, wellness, you name it. Top people from all over the world that I've met come on and they, and talk. And that is honestly how I started getting the wheels turning about, wow, you know what? There's something bigger here. So now, wait, I'm in New Jersey, but now I'm connecting with people in Bangkok and Australia and the UK. And wait, this is kind of cool. And that was before, obviously, a couple of years before COVID. So now I'm starting to think like, wow, this is kind of cool using Facebook a bunch for networking. Now, I wasn't teaching classes, so to say, but after, once everything shut down, I had just launched a new program called Let's Face It Together, which is facial exercise rehabilitation. Also, another program called Fall Proof, which is fall prevention. And I was like, this is awesome. I'm going to be live in all these places, and everything shut down. And I'm like, you know what? Let's see if I could use Zoom, and maybe I'll start doing my certifications via Zoom, see if it works. And honestly, I think it was, things shut down in March. I did my first one in April. And I'm like, this is where it's at. Honestly, people keep saying, the United States, like things are opening up. I get it. People have that need to be in person. But I love the virtual world because you have control over when, over where. You can watch it multiple times. So I've changed most of what I do to virtual. I work pretty much 100% from here, which is my home office. And, there's something to be said for reaching more people. And I honestly love the fact that we can be so inclusive. You don't have to get out. You don't have to, it's great to get out, but it gives people so many more options. So that's how I fell in love with the virtual. So people say, I think it's going to go away or lessen. And I said, it's never going away.
Yeah. The idea of being able to just have incredible trainers in your living room. That's never why would anyone abandon that? And that's one of the things that we're, basically theorizing at Burn Along is this hybrid model that people are going to want, people want to choose and not or. They want to
Right.
be able to connect with the instructor, medical fitness professional in their area, right? Because in person still makes a difference while also being able to have the convenience and frankly, some of the features that online provides, right? Being able to take, classes. We've got working adults who, parents will be off on business and they'll be able to hop on a class with their kids, at noon during some kind of break. So I think it's just going to stay, right? The same way that we're already developing habits through this pandemic that aren't going to go away. The fact is, people started getting groceries delivered to their door and they were like, oh my gosh, this worked out really great for me. Like I'm going to spend, 90% of people who said they started grocery shopping online, so they're going to continue in some form. So
Mhm.
there's just going to be both, I'm sure. What let's kind of talk finally. When you're working with your clients, what kind of clients really should come to you? What's your philosophy when you're working with them?
So what I love is that I think sometimes it takes a lifetime to find your thing and your niche and where you belong. And I know that, I talk about gifts. Like I was really depressed and down and when I got diagnosed. And the doctors are like, we don't know. Like maybe you could be fine. Maybe you have 5 years and you're going to have some really terrible time. Maybe in 10 years you won't be able to walk. I don't know. I had a grandmother who had the same diagnosis. She was paralyzed from the neck down from complications. So that unknown is, for me,
That's
that
as
was
scary as anything.
it was a wake up call. And again, I go back to Wonder Woman. What are your choices? Choose something. And I wasn't going to feel bad for myself, but I could easily be stuck and say, woe is me, like, oh, I'm the blah, 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 my job, my kids, my disease, whatever. Or you could say, you know what? I'm going to take these tools and teach them to people who also feel stuck, who also feel like I don't know what to do. I feel I don't feel good about myself. And I don't care what it is. I mean, the people who I love, I call myself the Statue of Liberty. Give me you're broken, you're poor, you're hungry, and as much as it's a joke, it's true. I want people who want to change. And again, they feel like I don't know what to do and need a little extra something, accountability, motivation. Um, and that is, that's what it comes down to for me. What is going on? Let's figure it out. Let's design a program for you or educate you so that you can do what makes you happy. If you hate to ride a bike, don't make bicycle riding something you need to do for fitness. You hate to run, don't run. Like we'll figure out what you enjoy because it's not working out. Like we got to work like movement into your life. And that's the biggest thing. So, again, I love working with people that have been, kind of knocked down and they need maybe a hand to get up. And I'm selfless plug. My book comes out in January 2022 called
Yes.
called Split Second Courage, and we talk about how to use your own experiences in life to kind of grow your courage a little bit so that you maybe do act and do take those chances like you said, and you do enjoy life a little bit more, and those connections are everything. And I do have to say I love the fact that once a week I will log into my Burn Along account and I respond to every single comment, and it does not take very long, but it is really meaningful. And maybe I don't get a chance to talk to some of these people in person, but guess what? If they ask me a question, I'm going to answer. And if they want more information, I'll send them to hey, have you ever checked out arthritis.org? Or hey, there's a really good blog here. Just that little teeny personal connection, it makes all the difference in the world. So that's powerful.
I love that. I love that. Well, once again, Christine, congratulations, America's favorite medical wellness instructor. We are thrilled to have you on Burn Along. Wishing you all the best. I'm sure we'll connect soon.
Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody.
Yeah.